Hello, welcome to TISM Talk, a show about autism and motorsports. Now, I shot this video and started to edit this video with no intention of it being a TISM Talk, but I realized this is going to make a good TISM Talk. So the style is just going to be a little different, but that's okay.
So we're back because I really like the spot. Last time I was here, yeah, but I had a mechanical failure. That's not good. Got a really big wash here, just trying to figure out a good spot to put the camera down that shows it off for what it is. Filming and riding all yourself is kind of tough. Because I am out recording and riding by myself, I move the camera around a lot. Kind of just put it eye level.
Okay, so normally, like, a YouTuber will have a camera and they'll do something, talk to the camera, do something, talk to the camera, do something. I just forget that the camera is something that you talk to and just practice. That line was pretty sick, not gonna lie. Like, the double zap, I expected to fail going up that line, but I didn't. Anyways, you can see me kind of just looking for different spots to hit. This isn't even like training. This is just film. All I wanted to do in this spot was get interesting film. You good there, bro? I'm investigating, checking it out. Can I do this? Oh. No, not Manny Lettenbichler. I tried though. Yeah, it's worth a try. So there's a lot of cool lines through this area that look really good on film, and that's one of them right there. That's perfect, I would say. Can you do it this time? Nope. And just take a break, bud. Just go take a break. It's okay. You'll be okay. That was probably like a 30-second rest, knowing me.
Get some drone shots.
So I do get drone shots, and then I immediately move without thinking about talking to the camera, like I said, to this new spot, which has like really soft sand, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can make a rut and practice my rutted corners, because that's fun. And it's here that it gets a little bit TISM talky, because I was like editing this, realizing that I did this a lot. Like a lot. Like normally, I think for training people, you're gonna do repetition shit, bro. But yeah, I was just getting to the point where even editing was getting a bit obsessive. So I eventually get this idea that I can have like all three cameras going at once, and I got the drone up in the air. It's just floating there for this shot, and I thought it was gonna be way cooler than that. But you know, it was okay. I ended up not using the majority of the drone shots, but that's not important. What I was trying to say, and why I think that this is, at this point when I'm editing this, I realized that this would make a good TISM talk, because normally the process goes: I go ride, I film, and then I come home and I cut everything out. You got it. Nice. Ooh, a little bump in the rear. But there's just so many. Like, there's so many. How do you choose? Well, I didn't want to. I wanted to talk about the fact that this is a lot. That bush is just in the way. So this, basically, I have like 4 or 5 batteries. Woo! Because I know I'm going to be out there for doing this for so long, recording. Nice, getting better, getting a little more sideways. Oh, a nice wheelie there. Actually, that was cool enough to where I want to watch it again in slow motion. Foot out, good. Should be way higher, but the wheelie at the end, it's kind of cool. So yeah, I think videoing yourself is nice because it does show you that your form is not what you think it is. Like, you think you're doing great, and you're like, yeah, I'm really hitting this hard. Then you watch the video and you're like, oh, there's a lot going on that's wrong here. I'm not gonna lie though, this does not help with my obsessive nature watching videos of how I could improve, because all I want to do is go back out and improve it. Yeah, but this isn't like a bunch of different cameras. This is just the one camera. yeah, I actually have a bunch of other cameras, and it's just the one. Just the one. So yeah, that was a cool ending to the day, and I was like, that's gonna be the end of the video. It's a cool end. So if you didn't see the obsessive nature in turn training, that's fine. That's a normal athletic thing. I get it. But think that here's the difference. I get distracted really easily. Obviously, I'm supposed to be heading home, and I'm like looking at every possible option. And by the time I get to I'm not even to the road yet, and I'm starting to think about other ways to practice and other videos to make. And when I was younger, this was really a cool thing because I did athletics, and those athletics got me into a good university. And it was because of this like obsessive nature that I was able to improve so quickly. And really, I came from a really small town where I pole vaulted. Nobody did that in my area. Like, there were no coaches, there were no other people to train against. So if I didn't have this obsessive nature, I wouldn't have been able to get good, so to speak. I'm not okay in this clip. I'm not actually trying. I'm trying to demonstrate bad form versus good form for the camera. It's really just for a video. Don't look at this and think that I'm like, yeah. Anyways, back to this matter at hand. So coming from a small town, that obsessive nature helped me stay on track for something that there really wasn't a track to stay on. And that definitely translates into here now. I didn't realize, though, at the time that wasn't like normal. I knew that nobody else was doing it and that it was abnormal in the sense that I was the only one doing it, but I didn't realize why it was abnormal. Well, we're 7 minutes into the video, and I can say the word hyperfixation. Yeah, I'm just being goofy. It's called hyperfixation. That's what it is. It's a thing. So in athletics, it's really good, or in any skill you want to get good at. It's really that's why people say superpower. Like, that's hyperfixation is the one thing about autism that makes people say, oh, it's a superpower. I really truly believe that that's it. What people don't see on the hyperfixation is that I'm by myself. Yep. Think about that. I'm always by myself because there's no one else that wants to practice pole vaulting in January in northern Michigan. Except for my dad. My dad's awesome, and he was always there for me. But after you leave home, you leave the nest, your dad isn't there anymore, and you're just by yourself, but you still have hyperfixation. And it isn't until your future wife comes along and says the word autism to you, and you get mad and think that it's an insult, but she's actually just trying to help you understand yourself a little bit better. That you start to research it and realize that it's not normal. And not only is it not normal, it's not always a good thing. Now, obviously, I was trying to show bad form. I didn't stand up. Sometimes you need to be able to have a chill button. Like, I have trained every day this week. My body hurts really bad. My finger came out of socket earlier this week. And all I want to do today is go train. I need to have a chill, and I can't. So that's the bad side of it. The good side is, obviously, I have only been doing dirt biking for like 2 years, and I'm not terrible at it. So hyperfixation is both a superpower and a super crutch. Super. I don't know what the word is, but it's not always a good thing. It's kind of a double-edged sword. So that's, I think, one of the more frustrating things that you hear is the superpower argument, is that nobody wants to talk about the other sharp side of that sword. They just want to talk about how, oh wow, look how fast you got, or look how good you are at this thing. Well, it's like, yeah, you're hyper fixated on it. You spend every second of every day thinking about it. You're gonna get good at it. That's just how it works. But you're also gonna kind of suck at everything else, mostly socially, because nobody else wants to sit there and talk about it 24 hours a day. Even me, editing the video doesn't want to sit here and watch all of the same thing, so I'm actually going to cut to the next freaking clip. There are a lot of coping mechanisms for this behavior for children, and I didn't have any of them because I didn't know anything about autism. But one of them is like a card or five cards, and every time you talk about your hyperfixation, you have to give that card up, right? And by the time you've done it 5 times, you can't talk about that thing at all. It's to help the child understand that socially it's not acceptable to sit there and talk about the same thing all the time. And it's that the fact that there is a technique to stop it, it goes to show that like it's not always a good thing. I think that I really can't hammer this home enough that hyperfixation is not always a good thing. Like it seems so simple to be like, well, yeah, of course it isn't. But it's like, look, that's the thing. That's the thing that everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky to have. It's like, okay, cool yourself here. So as an adult, you're still gonna need those coping mechanisms. You still need those 5 cards, and it is not a normal thing for an adult to walk around and hand people playing cards. So obviously, you're not gonna do that. But we kind of have to mix ourselves up a little bit. So what helps, obviously, to make friends that like what you like. That's like the number one easiest way to handle social hyperfixation situations. Because they a lot of times are going to think it's really cool that you want to talk about the same thing all the time. But, it's not always going to work, especially if you're, in a relationship with somebody, because they're going to eventually want to talk about something else. I think as an adult, it's important for us to have alternative fixations, maybe ones that we tentatively like. Now, it's also super helpful if those alternative fixations are popular items like video games or sports balls or something, because then you can use that to kind of like talk to other people. The problem is it's really hard to be interested in something you're not interested in. So it takes a long time and a lot of practice to find alternative fixations. And it's also really hard to not turn them into hyperfixations, because having more than one of those ain't nobody got time for that. That's yeah. For example, I really have been really interested in drums. I don't like the sound of drums. They're too loud. There's a lot of reasons why I don't play drums, but I really like drums. I think it's so interesting how they can affect the sound of a band so much. Like a drummer can change the entire sound, the entire genre of a song, just one instrument. I think that's fascinating. But I'm not going to learn to play drums because I don't need another fixation. So as like a younger person, you're going to go through so many different fixations. You're going to try everything, all your obsessions. Everything is new and everything needs to be fully explored. And that's fine. But I think you're going to have to also look at yourself and understand that you eventually need to settle in and find your spot. Now, I thought that was going to be knife making and razor making, and I did that for a really long time and was very successful at it. And eventually, I just didn't like it anymore, and I couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, you're going to find your thing, and it's okay that maybe eventually you don't want to do that thing anymore. It's completely understandable. I think it's a career change is what normal people would call it, but it's different. I guess what I'm trying to really drive home before I actually drive home is that it's important to have management, to have a fixation management system that you've put in. Like, I will really like drums, but I've accepted the fact that I am drum curious from the outside. I don't need to play the drums. I don't need to hyperfixate on the drums to appreciate the drums. So I have reasons why I don't want to learn to play drums, reasons why I will not buy drums. Like they're too loud, they're too big, but mostly I don't need another hyperfixation because I don't have time for that, because socially it's important to have a social life, whether you want to admit it or not, because socially you have to make time for people as well. I know that doesn't sound all that great to most autistic people, but trust me, having a good support system around you that you have built and catered is super important. That's pretty much it. I can't really think of another thing to talk about. It's really odd, this style of video, to have the video and then commenting on that. Usually I do the audio first. So let me know what you thought of this new new style. I don't know. I'm still just trying a bunch of different ways of shooting and editing this video idea because it's new for me. Normally I just take the best of my 50 turns and I post it up and people either like it or they don't like it, and that's it. So anyways, well, you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, if you want to talk about anything autism related, leave a comment.